What's going on, everybody? I'm Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And we're Nick and Joe. Welcome back to an all-new K-Drama Club, where we are talking about...
Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha.
Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, one of our favorite dramas so far. We are on episodes...
Oh my god, 13 and 14?
13 and 14.
Wow.
It's almost at an end.
1 week to go. That's
Bittersweet.
crazy. That's
But
crazy.
before we get into talking about these two episodes, want to let you know, if you're new here, we're two friends.
Two friends.
We like K-pop. We like K-dramas.
K-dramas.
And we like making YouTube videos about those things.
Whenever we feel like it.
So if you like those things, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a future video. We've got lots of other K-Drama Club episodes from Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha and from other dramas, so check out the playlist on our channel. But here we are, talking about the penultimate set of episodes.
Yes.
13 and 14.
13 and 14.
A lot happened. A lot more drama in these two episodes versus the previous two, which were all like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, I would say the first real like conflict in their relationship between Dushik and Hyejin.
Since they've decided to be in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Officially.
But even like before, like it was all very like happy-go-lucky, I guess, and they were like always butting heads, but it was like playful in a way. This is the first time that they're butting heads, and it's like it's actually
gonna
like,
work
it's,
or
yeah,
not?
it's like a point of like division between them.
So of course, Hyejin wants to know more about Dushik's past.
Exactly.
And he has some skeletons in his closet that we don't even know about.
Exactly, and he's kind of brushing off her questions.
Yes, he very much is trying to avoid it.
Exactly, and but for her, it's like very important that they like.
All of a sudden, it's very important.
Well, I think she has like kind of hinted at, and she's been asking around the town a little bit. Like she's been curious about it, but I think she has this feeling like if he can't like tell me everything, then it's not going to work or something.
Right.
Which I think in a relationship is kind of valid.
Though they did just start officially dating, and she's like, "All right, you got to tell me everything."
Exactly. But I think the whole point of the show is that it's a relationship that feels deeper than just like the short amount of time they've known each other kind of thing.
And also with his whole past, there is like general mystery around his past with everybody in the town. So it's kind of like a thing.
Yes.
So I think the fact that she knows that it's a thing, it's this mysterious thing that nobody seems to know about.
And she's like hearing about it from other people too, and she's like, oh, well, so I think, she wants to be the one that he confides in, I guess.
She pretty much just knows, and everybody just knows, he returned to the town after working somewhere else for a while, and when he came back, he wasn't the same.
Yeah,
or at least that's the characterization we get from the restaurant owner.
Yeah, like a shell of himself.
A shell of himself. Yeah. And we've got some allusions as to what, kind of happened, but basically throughout the episodes, they are just trying to, it's this push and pull. She wants to take a break.
Yeah.
And he can work it out and kind of decide if he's going to tell her and decide if he can tell her. But it ultimately comes together, and she decides,
Yeah, it's like this whole situation where everything happens with the baby. Like there's a big storm.
Yes, the baby brought them together.
Exactly. They can't go to the hospital because all the roads are blocked, so she ends up delivering the baby at her house. But
even though she's a dentist.
Exactly. But hey, better than nothing.
I feel like you called this. Like she's gonna end up delivering the baby.
Yeah. But so the thing is, like, they both look at the baby and they both seem happy, and I think it's like a moment where like. And she asks him, like, oh, do you see yourself having kids in the future, kind of thing. Yeah. And then he kind of, like, brushes it off a little bit. Like, I think he is feeling like it's... And then that's when the conversation randomly goes to, like, she's like, oh, I've been feeling distant. Mm-hmm. And I think that he is kind of starting to doubt the relationship a little bit because he knows that she wants to know about his past, and he's not sure if he's ready to, like, share everything with, like, another person the way that she, like, needs him to.
Yes.
So she kind of decides that they need to take a break, but not like a breakup kind of break. So I think that like that's like the first like real point of conflict that they hit in their relationship. But she ends up talking to the restaurant owner and ultimately decides like that she can be patient with him and she can wait. But it's funny because I think that her coming to that realization exactly lines up with him like finally being ready to like tell her. Yeah. Because I feel like he didn't like say much in these episodes. He's very like silent, like just like a figure standing there while she was like expressing emotion. He was just like.
Because when he can't be like witty and sarcastic and all that, he kind of like shuts down a little bit.
Exactly. So, but it ends with him like planning like, hey, come to my house tonight, and I'm gonna have a really long story to tell you.
Right.
And then, but they go back to the big gathering everyone is, and the story that he wants to tell kind of starts to unravel a little bit with one of the guys who's working on the film crew. his grandfather, who was injured, got injured in whatever accident or
Somehow
something.
Dushik was involved.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it was not his fault at all. Whatever happened, so there's this woman that comes to town as well.
Yes, we should start there. The woman comes to town, mysterious woman, arrives, and she's looking to meet up with an old friend who we know is Dushik, and she knows the director who's in town. But we've seen the flashback.
With him and her together.
Yes, and also the picture in the book that Hyejin finds. It's a picture of Dushik and a couple and a kid, right?
No, it's just the couple and the kid.
Oh, okay. And so we know that those people, so she arrives to town, and then we're starting to get flashbacks of him with this other couple. Like, they seem to be good friends. It seems like Dushik worked for this guy.
Yeah. Or like it was his friend in college who ended up getting him a job when he graduated from college is kind of like the vibe. And but that guy died. And Dushik... Unexpectedly. And Dushik somehow, feels responsible for this. And the woman, when he went to the funeral, also said, like, you should be dead, not him. This is all your fault. Like, how could you even come here? And I think she came to the town to apologize to him. I think that she's coming to the town to kind of make amends and say, like, hey, I shouldn't have said all those things I said. It wasn't your fault. Like, I know now after however many years that, this isn't, that's not what happened.
Right. Because it seemed like that couple, they were taking care of him a little bit. Because they show him getting a suit and they're going to pay for it. And it almost seemed like older siblings, but not quite older siblings.
And I think we'll get a little bit more about what that relationship was really. But it seems just kind of like someone who took him under his wing, like when he was in college or something. And, and then helped him.
So whatever happened left at least one person dead, and somebody ended up getting seriously injured, and they're paraplegic now.
Yeah.
So something big happened. Somehow Dushik could catch some type of responsibility for that, and it affected him so much that he left and just returned to his hometown.
Exactly.
And that comes to blows sort of at the end of the second episode, where the member of the crew realizes Dushik's full name, realizes that who he is, and that somehow he caused whatever happened to his grandfather.
Exactly. Which is weird, because that would have mean that his grandfather probably told him, like, oh, Home Dushik that worked at the firm was the one that made,
Or there was some type of lawsuit or something.
Yeah, true.
Or charges. Because what we also see in the flashback is Dushik exchanging with the guard. Like, he's talking to him, and they're seem friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they know each other. And it doesn't seem like he would intentionally wrong these people. So whatever happened is causing two people to blame Dushik for something very, very, very serious.
Yeah, which I guess we'll see. But then at the end of the episode, they had the flash forward, and the flash forward, I was thinking, as soon as the woman was like, you should be dead, like, he should be alive kind of thing, I was thinking car accident. Like, there was some sort of a car accident that happened, and Dushik survived, and her husband died.
Right.
And then it kind of, in the flashback, it kind of shows him look to the side, and there's a light coming. So I'm thinking. So
maybe he was driving, security guard was the other car involved or something.
Yeah, some sort of situation like that where there was some sort of car accident. But that's kind of speculation. And it also did the flash forward to him to Hyejin kind of saying oh, this must have been really hard for you. You've been through a lot. So I think that it's going to be the same kind of situation when he says. When they have the conversation in the past where he was like, "Oh, my grandfather died because I was out playing soccer, and he had a heart attack or whatever, and I wasn't there."
Really his fault.
And she was like, "You can't seriously be blaming yourself for that, right? Things just happen in life." And I think it's going to be the same kind of conversation where she's like, "That must have been really hard for you," and then he's like, "Yeah, it's all my fault." She's going to be like, "You can't seriously be blaming yourself for these things that just happen." It's just things that happen. So I think it's going to be one of those situations. But I think it's harder for people who are actually affected by things to let it go
and look at it rationally.
Exactly. And I think people are always looking for someone to blame, I guess, when things go wrong in life.
Totally.
And I think Dushik blaming himself leaves it open for other people to blame him as well.
Sure,
If he's accepting responsibility or feeling like he did something wrong,
then they'll give him all the blame he'll take.
Then it makes it easier for them to be like, this is your fault.
Yeah.
And I think that he's just that kind of person.
Right.
So, but I think that the guy who works on the film crew obviously is not he thinks that it's Dushik's fault, but I think the woman who came to the town is ready to say.
She doesn't seem to be in town in a fit of rage.
Exactly, she's there to she wouldn't even come look for him if she wasn't ready to talk to him or whatever.
Yeah. So we'll see how that unfolds in the next couple episodes. Obviously, it seems like she's going to get the story one way or another because she's witnessing this event happen where he's getting punched in the face. So she's going to find out. I'm sure they'll make amends, and we'll see what is in store for the two of them if she can stick with it. before all that drama happened, the town had two visitors, Hyejin's friends from school, the catty girls that we always see, like, you know, they're always kind of like talking down to her and
exactly. When she went to the wedding, they were there, and they're like her old college friends or something. I wouldn't say friends. I would just say they were in like the same circle, probably.
They seem like they're friends.
Yeah, but like
they talk crap about each
they
other.
don't. She doesn't seem to like them all that much.
Right. And she's just afraid that she's going to be looked down on. She lives in a small town, etc. But she's got this really cute boyfriend that she's ready to show off.
Exactly.
And we get the joke again of Dushik, like she asks him to speak formally to her friends. We get that joke again. We're saying stuff.
And she's like hitting him.
Yeah, and he's adding the formal.
Yeah.
So that was very funny. And it's funny to see how the friends shifted. Well, when the friends first come to town, they come to the cafe and they sit at the table. They're like kind of like talking crap about the cafe in the town.
Yeah.
And the gossip girl is sitting behind them, and the owner of the cafe, he hears them saying that. And he goes over like he's going to confront them. And she actually says, oh, the gossip girl says to the owner, it's like, oh, wait, don't worry. Hyejin's there.
Yeah.
She'll say something. So that's like a huge shift because Hyejin used to be that person.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they see her as one of them.
One of the townspeople with these like
she's going to stick up for them.
Exactly.
So I thought that was a really nice moment.
And it's funny when they go to play golf, and you're like, and I was like, I know Dushik's going to be amazing at golf. He's going to be like the best golf player in the world, like a pro golfer. And he goes,
and they're like amazed by him because they only saw him one time, like in passing or something in Seoul. And they expected him to be like this working guy, like with not much together, but they see him get his stuff together at the golf game, and they're like so impressed.
Yeah, and I honestly think that this whole exchange is part of the reason why Dushik kind of starts to be a little bit distant, maybe because I think that when Hyejin first came to the town, like they looked at her as like this very superficial person, but then as he got to know her, he started to realize that it's like she's like deeper than that. But then when her friends came back, she kind of like reverted a little bit to that kind of like superficial thing, being like, oh, he went to SNU,
right?
And she kept calling him Oppa, and she like doesn't normally do that.
He's like, why are you calling me that?
Yeah, he's like, why are you calling me that? And then like, just like all those, and like making him speak formally and things like that, and he just kind of like, that's not the kind of life that he wants to live. And I think that he was, a little bit like turned off by that.
He wants to be sure that like, okay, if he gets in this relationship, is she just going to default back to that eventually? Like, is this just a vacation for her?
Or it's like every time he meets her parents or meets one of her friends, like she wants him to act a certain way. Like, I don't think that that's like something he's willing to do.
Yes.
So I think there were times in the episode where like he's sitting at the table and like just it looks like he's like just like staring blankly, like while they're eating together and stuff. And I think that might have been kind of the starting point of that like distance between them. Yeah,
but her friends coming around by the end of that, I think, is reassuring for her because she's very concerned with appearances. And not only that, her stepmom and dad calling and saying, oh, come visit soon with your boyfriend.
Exactly.
Like, that's affirming. So pretty much everything she was scared about, like, is getting eliminated.
Like, I think that the kind of person that he is that he, like, people will accept him. Yeah. Even with, like, not having, like, a stable job or, like, all this stuff. Like, he's just, like, his personality, like, makes people accept him. And I think she's so worried about all these appearances that she doesn't, like, understand that sometimes. That it's like, deeper than that. Yeah. So I think that they're a little bit different in that way. Yeah.
Just quickly, we should touch on the baby being born and that couple. They're sort of like almost like a foil to like Dushik and Hyejin, because previous they were like so happy as a new couple in the honeymoon stage. Yeah. And then we have this other young couple that, you know, they already have one kid with one on the way, and the husband is not really paying full attention and treating the wife well. The wife is working really hard, and you see that kind of unfold. That was like kind of heartbreaking. She's asking him to tie her shoes, and he didn't want to tie the shoes. It's just like kind of sad. But the birth of the baby and like the realization and the talk that they have around that kind of brings it all back together and makes them see.
And he like realized what he was doing wrong, right? And like and I think like sometimes it takes like a moment. Like everyone has like a moment of realization. I think sometimes, like especially during big events like the birth of a child, they're like,
and he almost missed
it, and like, so yeah, it was good to see like that. It seemed like they're kind of like a quirky couple, like kind of thing. But that episode they were very like at odds and they were fighting, and she was like actually just yelling at him, and he was trying to like make amends.
Yeah, because he's kind of written off as the fool a lot, I think, and she had finally talked to him seriously, and laid it down. And it was also a sweet moment when Laura was staying at Hyejin's house, and they woke up and she was like so sad, missed her mom. Like I thought that was a very realistic like situation for a little kid.
Yeah.
And it just like shows the tightness of this community. Like, okay, you're gonna go stay with them tonight because your mom's you're about to have a sibling.
Yeah, she stayed at the girl Hua Chang's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the son Hyejin,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they prayed together, and it's just a very sweet moment. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, he like, and I think the thing about that is that with that moment is that kid is so like smart and by the book, and like everything is like, and then that moment he was like, oh, if you wish on the lightning, it can come true. And I think like he made that up in the moment, but that's like so out of character for him.
But it shows that he has like
he's
empathy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's supportive.
Supporting his friend, like.
Yeah.
So I actually like that scene a lot too.
Yes. On another relationship front, Hyejin's friend and the police officer.
The police officer, and they had some pretty funny. It was that their whole exchanges were all pretty funny.
That was the comic relief.
Exactly. Like he's just like constantly buying her like all these like super expensive gifts to the point where she's like, I don't even want these anymore.
Yes,
like it's so
what
awkward.
Is this about? It's just weird. And she like thinks she's catching him doing something shady, like selling weapons or something, but he just sells like military like replica like toy stuff or something.
He was like
in the shadiest way possible.
Exactly. It's just really funny. But I think that he didn't want her to know. He's buying her all these expensive gifts, but he's not a super well-off guy. So he was deciding like, okay, I'm going to start whittling down my collection of like military stuff and kind of just like get a little bit extra spending money. But he probably didn't want her to know that because he didn't want her to feel like bad or any like kind of thing. So he was like being like super secretive about it, but it was just really funny. Where she like overhears him on the phone and then like thinks she's catching him, and then like he like pulls the gun out of the thing, and she's like,
and like shows it in a case.
And she thinks he's gonna like shoot her. Like,
so bizarre. It was
really funny. But I think they both like. She was like, I'm stupid for like not questioning or like not trusting or whatever, and then he was like, yeah, I was kind of stupid for like blowing all my money like trying to buy these expensive gifts when like that's not the most important thing. So there were some good moments with them.
Okay, and now the love triangle.
Yes, between
the teacher, the village chief, and the restaurant owner.
Yes, the divorced couple. So
huge revelation.
The biggest revelation of the episodes, I think,
is that she wasn't interested in the village. The teacher was not interested in the village chief because she was interested in the other member of the love triangle, the other woman.
It turns out that she
is gay.
Is gay. That's what they are alluding to.
Yes.
With her mother coming to visit.
Yeah, and that was like especially heartbreaking because she just sees like the two women together. And they're just being like friendly, but I think it's supposed to be portrayed as like kind of like not flirty, but there's something going on.
Exactly.
And the mother knows it because it seems like they've been clued into this before the parents and the brother. And the mother is like just sobbing and like yelling at her daughter and saying like, you can't live like this. Like, well, like basically they're gonna disown her if she lives like this. So that's like. And previously, the teacher had talked about her family, about how her family was all very distant and moved away. So I'm wondering if some of that was not true, or is because they just left her, or they're distant for that reason.
Yeah, you know? Or maybe like this is the reason why she wanted to get away from her family when she was younger and like go away to Kongjin and like be away is because she felt like she wasn't like accepted by her family for whatever reason.
And this is an interesting direction for the story because the original like married couple that are currently divorced are slowly finding their way back to each other, like in very sweet ways. Like he's coming doing the dishes for her, like that kind of thing.
But this was spurred by the teacher herself. She was talking to the village chief, and she was like, when I came back and heard that you guys were divorced, I was really surprised because I was always really jealous of your relationship. And she was just saying, like, if I had a person like that back then, I would have never let them go.
Right.
And he kind of realizes that he needs to, like, go and talk to her. Right. And I think that it feels like she's doing right by her friends, even though it's, like, hard for her to, like, let go of whatever feelings that she had.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like that is reciprocated in any way.
Exactly.
They haven't shown that at all.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because I wonder like what kind of ending the teacher gets.
Right.
It doesn't feel like she's gonna get like a super happy ending. It seems like she's gonna kind of, I don't know, maybe the three of them will just be friends and that's like a happy ending in itself.
I think the happiest ending that we'll probably see for her in the show that could happen would be she talks to both of them and says like, this is how I was feeling, this is what was actually going on, and I came back here because I had like friends or whatever, and that at least those two, if not like the whole town, can be accepting of her, how she is, and like she can be welcomed into this new family that is the town.
Like some sort of like coming out with
Right,
like acceptance,
basically.
not like with
Yeah.
her family when there was like coming out and she was met with like send her away.
Yeah, and not with the intention of breaking up that couple either. Just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just
being accepted,
open.
yeah, and having people who like know who you really are or like how you really feel and like still accept you for that.
Right.
So that's true. Like hopefully
I think that's the happiest ending. I hope they do. I hope it doesn't just end with what we already
exactly.
know.
Like there's something more to that story.
Exactly.
Well, because I think with the divorced couple, it seems like their story is like coming to a culmination where like he accepted what he did wrong and he knows what he did wrong and he admitted it and he said like he said I don't like I want to. Basically, he wants to be with her again, and that he won't make the same mistakes again, kind of thing.
And she's realizing that I could have just said,
exactly,
what I meant or what was on my mind, what was bothering me,
instead of just like assuming that he's gonna figure it out on his own.
Right.
But she was like, "What kind of person does it take 15 years to figure that out?" But I think that their ending is like coming, like it's pretty much like coming to a culmination now. So I just feel like that friend group needs like an ending that
totally
in these last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Have we covered everything on our list?
I think we covered everything.
There is so much happening, and we took longer to get this episode up, so it's been longer since we watched the next episodes. But future speculation. Hopefully, we're going to figure out what happened to Dushik. Like what happened. That whole thing will hopefully get resolved. He's been our like main hero of the story so far. So I assume whatever darkness is in his past is going to, not be, he's going to have some resolution to that.
Exactly, and it's I think that.
Will we get a flash forward?
Well, maybe I think it's setting up for him to tell his story in this next episode. He's going to talk to the wife of his friend who died, and I think that whole story is going to come to a culmination in this next episode.
Okay.
Because with the flash forward, it showed him talking to Hyejin at night about and I'm assuming it's about that. So I think maybe last episode we might get a little flash forward.
Maybe we see years in advance. Maybe there's a little baby running around. Maybe they're still living in the island, or maybe they're commuting in and out of Seoul. Who can say?
Who can say?
Because part of his growth might also be that he can leave his hometown again.
Yeah.
Who knows? But we look forward to it. So we'll be watching those episodes this weekend as they come out, and we'll be getting that episode shortly after. So make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on. If you do enjoy the K-Drama Club, please leave a like. Let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen, what you think of the show, etc. And maybe suggestions for future dramas we should watch.
We're going to need a new drama. And I honestly prefer doing ones that are like coming out currently.
Yeah, like as they go.
Exactly.
It's a lot more fun to do, yeah. But thank you so much for watching. That's going to be it for today. My name is Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And we're Nick and Joe.